CP.
Are you serious? He's gone! 40, 30, Portis all the way! Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards!
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp, you know. He'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say, and you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode 22, here in studio with Monica McNutt. We got Jake Crunch Rifles on the phone. Jake has taken over the show. He's down in Mobile. We're going to check on Senior Bowl and get a recap of what's going on down there. But to open the show up, we have to talk about Championship Weekend and how Championship Weekend hurt. First off, let's get that clear.
Oh yeah, you're a
it
fan.
hurts because I'm a Saints fan. So for the Saints to lose at home in New Orleans after being up, you thought they were going to run away with that game, and all of a sudden, things changed.
Things did change. Tell me about your experience watching that game. Let's have a little therapy here for you.
Like, it hurts because you know they should be there. You know, I mean, a blown call. And you're trying to make this game so perfect and get this game to where you want it to be that the refs have such a huge impact. Like, that was the most obvious blown call of all time. You know, I could see if it was like a holding penalty or something that happened in the crowd, but you're talking about you completely demolished the guy. He was on the ground being tackled before the ball even landed, and you missed that call. That call gives you first and goal, which you would go on. I mean, even if you still get 3, you run the time off the clock.
So earlier in the game, I remember the commentators saying that they appreciated that the refs were letting the guys play in this particular contest. Not saying that that was not a blown call.
Yeah, but letting them play in that being a blown call is too different. Like, letting them play is when 2 guys are running downfield, like hand battling, fighting for the ball, contested. For one, he never turned his head around, and 2, it was just an outright tackle. So that's totally different from letting them play.
So no, I feel you. There is definitely probably a difference, but I guess I always go back to, in sports, does it literally come down to one call? And everybody in the sports world is saying, yes, it did in this instance. But, I mean, what do you do with that? Like, that's the cards you're dealt then.
Well, Coach Gibbs always used to tell us to play hard every play because the game normally comes down to 1 or 2 plays. It's those 1 or 2 plays where you make a mistake or you're not ready when the ball comes to you and you miss it. Like, those are the 1 or 2 plays that stand out. Everything else can be even, but it's 1 or 2 plays that decide a game. After the game is over, you can always go back and say this game was won on this play. You didn't know that during the game, like that was going to be the play that won the game. So if you look at that game, that was the play that changed the game.
Jake, want to jump in?
Well, I just want to know why Sean Payton didn't run the football.
So that's
I mean,
okay.
This is the whole point. This is the whole point about the one call, right? Because at a certain point, you do have to explain the fact that he could have ran the ball out anyway, and maybe they wouldn't even be in that situation passing the football. They would just give it to Mark Ingram or Kamara. You keep running the ball out, you get the field goal anyway, and you make them use all their timeouts. I mean, that's the whole point.
That's the next thing, but I think it was 3rd down when that play happened. So on 1st and 2nd down, you're right. They should have taken the time out to run the ball and make the Rams use their timeouts. But on 3rd down, when you feel like I got this key play, which was a wheel route where they were destroying the Rams the entire game with. So you just took the wheel route from Kamara and sent it to Smith. You know, the man was open. It was a great call.
It's weird for me because I'm sort of with Jake, but this is all hindsight is going to be 2020, right? Like, we can pick it apart in the moment or after the fact. But I guess for me, so now what moving forward? Like, do you want to see plays in the last 2 minutes of a game? Everything is reviewable. Like, how do you avoid this happening again?
Well, I mean, of course there's going to be some change. When you look at the instant, them instantly saying we're going to review this and making an issue in the owner's meetings, you know that's going to come back. Like, you don't make it to the Super Bowl because of a blown call, you know instantly they're going to fix that. Now it's going to slow up the game because you're going to have a lot more that's going to come about that you're going to need to see. It's not going to just be the last 2 minutes. They're talking about making PI a replay. So not just 2 minutes, it's just making a pass interference a replay. So
that's going to slow the game so much.
Yeah, it's going to slow the game down because every play is a pass, and you probably could call pass interference on every play.
Does this then also?
Is it impossible to think that there could be reviewable penalties? Because, I mean, you're looking at frame-by-frame graphics, and it's so much easier to notice any kind of physical contact on that as opposed to what a referee is seeing in the middle of a play. But I'd imagine, too, like when you have a situation like that, maybe you don't let it happen on every play, but maybe you give a coach maybe one challenge flag for a penalty. You know, maybe that's a way you test the waters with that.
I don't know. I think it's going to prolong the game. But
For
moving
sure.
on, because you just brought up some negative energy out of me. You two, as you always do. Let's get to this Kansas City New England Patriots game. Tom Brady.
Wow.
No, I said moving on from Drew Brees. Tom Brady come out and say he's the baddest MF alive, and he proved it. I think when you watch Tom Brady, the way he orchestrated those drives, especially on the key third downs that they picked up against Kansas City in critical moments, they were all third and long. It was like instantly he knew where he was going. He was dropping dimes to Gronk and Edelman, and those guys was just, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady.
Okay, so I know we turned the page on the other game, but Jake, you two jump in on this one. The penalty, the neutral zone infraction that cost the Chiefs the almost interception, or the pass interference call, like which is the bigger could have been, should have been moment in the championship
It's definitely
weekend?
the neutral zone infraction because that took an interception away.
Right.
If he's not in the neutral zone, then that player is not dead, and that interception is live. So the game is over.
The thing.
Okay, but if New Orleans gets the penalty, sorry, Jay, go ahead.
That's the thing for me, though. This is why football is such a crazy sport, and why we make declarative statements like this. It's so hard to really argue about that. I mean, this is why when we think about if that penalty is called on the Saints, that Drew Brees is now going to another Super Bowl, and it completely changes the course of his career and maybe legacy. Then you look at this. Tom Brady throws that interception. Pat Mahomes. Everybody in Kansas City is now in the Super Bowl. Maybe that defensive coordinator's not fired. I mean, it's just incredible how one little decision on a neutral zone infraction completely changes the course of how we view and appreciate somebody. Now, granted, I know that like one play, again, as we've talked about, doesn't define everybody, but in the way that the ripple effect, happens from that, it's just crazy to think about how we now think about Tom Brady in a slightly different realm just because somebody's offsides and wasn't called.
Well, I think that D coordinator, being 31st ranked defense in the NFL, I think the writing was on the wall for him regardless. But again, going back to Tom Brady and how spectacular he played, then you get to the Super Bowl. So now you have the Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Huge game for Los Angeles. I just don't think they have a chance. That's my honest opinion. I don't think they have a chance for the simple fact they're on the stage and they're full of young guys. They have all of these young guys going to Atlanta.
They're not going to be focused? Is that what you're telling us?
You know how hard it's going to be.
For the Super Bowl, you can't focus for a week and celebrate afterward?
Listen, for everything that's going to – Todd Gurley, your star player, went to UGA. That's an hour away from Atlanta. You're going to have 1 million people pulling and tugging at you. So hard to focus. You're back in your environment. Everyone else on that team, Peters, Talib, on the Super Bowl stage in Atlanta. You can't tell me they don't have a Super Bowl party already. I wouldn't be shocked to see them out in the club. I just wouldn't.
Seriously? Like leading up to the game?
Yeah, leading up to the game. I would not be shocked. When I look at that team, the only player I would say that I would believe could actually, off the Rams team, that could actually go to Atlanta and not be fazed would be Aaron Donald. I think that's the one guy who would be focused enough to say, I'm coming to handle business. Even I think this stage for golf against Brady is too big for golf. You look at Gurley.
What we said about Nick Foles, though?
It was in Minnesota, though. That's totally different.
Atlanta's going to be that much of an X factor.
Well, because you look at the Rams team, the makeup of the Rams team are young guys that are still in this world. Like, they're still partying, they're still enjoying life. Like, they're not a bunch of married guys. When you look from the receiver position to the running backs to the DBs to your safeties, like, your star players are all young guys new to the NFL. Even your coach, your head coach is a young, flamboyant,
so let me hear you. I want to hear you 100%. You're telling me that there's not enough discipline, intestinal fortitude, wherewithal to stay straight for the week and then celebrate afterward,
I'm not
maybe?
saying there's not enough discipline. I think he does a great job with discipline. I'm just thinking this stage is going to be too big.
Okay.
When you look at Bill Belichick, the Patriots been in this position so many times, like, they'll be asleep by 8 o'clock. They're not enjoying these festivities. They're not caught up in this moment. But the Rams, on the other hand, they got to be caught up in this moment. Speaking of being caught up in this moment, before I get caught up, Monica, pay the bills.
Extreme opportunity to win millions of dollars ahead. The Extreme Million Scratcher could get you $10 million without you having to do anything extreme at all. The game has a $10 million top prize, a $1 million second prize, and over $256 million in total prizes for the entire game. All you have to do is head to your local lottery retailer. This game will make even the dullest winter day sparkle. You have 30 chances to win per ticket, and there are multipliers in the game too. If you have a non-winning ticket, you can enter it into the final second chance drawing in April for a $1 million prize. Don't spend the day staring out your window or leafing through a magazine you've read a million times. Shouldn't you check out our Extreme Millions? That's an extremely easy question to answer.
Well, Jake, you're in trouble. Because you're in trouble, Jake. But it's okay. You got other stuff to do, like being at the Senior Bowl. Tell us what's going on in the Senior Bowl down in Birmingham. Where you at? Mobile? You're in Mobile. Yeah, Mobile, Senior Bowl is in Mobile, Alabama.
Is it warm?
I mean, first of all, what a strange place to have, basically the entire network of NFL scouts and prospects and draft network people all come down here in this little town on the Gulf of, and I'm just thinking about it, like, we pulled up to Lad People Stadium where they host this every year, and it's just this kind of rickety old stadium. It just doesn't feel like there was a real I just don't have any understanding of why this was the place. It's probably some financial incentive or something with the NFL that they decided that they would make this town just draft central for the whole week. But it's an interesting place for sure. But today actually is kind of disappointing because there was nothing really happening in terms of media presence. It's been raining all day, and they had to move all of the practices into South Alabama's indoor facility that is still being built. So they didn't have much room for any media or many scouts. I think they only allowed 2 scouts for each team to come and look at practices today. So it's kind of been a wash, literally and figuratively, when it comes to day 2. But got a chance to see some guys practice yesterday. And I was telling you right before we started recording, Clinton, I think the most impressive guy that I was able to see was this edge defender, Montez Sweat from Mississippi State. This guy's really just bulldozing every offensive lineman in his way. And it's interesting because you talk to some scouts, and the whole purpose of this week for them is they've been looking at all these guys for the last 4 or 5 months on tape and really haven't gotten a chance to talk to them. So this is the first time they get to really match their expectations with the actual person. And it starts with seeing what they can do on the field against other top seniors from around the country. And then you get a chance to actually talk to them in meetings, for longer than just 15 minutes. So you actually get a real opportunity to speak about their personality and get to see if what coaches have been saying about them is actually true. And sometimes it doesn't line up, but the whole point of this is that you do get to see whether what you've been thinking about them is really true. So that's kind of the whole purpose of this week. Hopefully we'll be out there tomorrow and get to see some more practice and talk to some guys. But talked to several quarterbacks yesterday And look, the Redskins, I mean, I'm interested to kind of hear your thoughts, but I think the Redskins are due for a quarterback in this draft.
Well, what quarterbacks are standing out that's there?
I mean, Daniel Jones is somebody that I think a lot of people are really high on right now. He's definitely a consensus first-round pick from Duke. And this is actually funny because he's not technically a senior. He came out of the draft, but he took an extra class to be academically eligible to play in this game. So that's how important this Senior Bowl is for some people, because you look at last year, Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen participated, and they were top 10 picks. So I think a lot of quarterbacks are realizing the importance of this game and this week in terms of helping their stock rise. So I like him. Will Grier was somebody that from West Virginia that I think a lot of people are having an eye on. Dwayne Haskins is not here, so they're trying to really jockey for position without him and try to get on Scout's eyes a little bit more. I did talk to Trace McSorley, too, Penn State quarterback, who's actually from Ashburn, said he grew up watching the Redskins and had opportunities to go to football camps at the facility. Remembers watching Sean Taylor around the facility. So it would be kind of interesting if he got to be taken by the Redskins, but that's not really a pick you'd probably spend until the 4th or 5th round at least. So there's just a whole variety of quarterbacks here that could be potentially taken.
What about the wide receiver position?
Wide receiver, I don't know a ton right now. I think Deebo Samuel is the guy that everyone was really looking at in terms of his speed and ability to catch the ball pretty much anywhere. I think the other guy from West Virginia, David Sills, is somebody that a lot of people have their eye on too. He actually got the chance to work with Will Grier, his teammate, yesterday. But he's somebody too that I think a lot of people are looking at and as a guy that could play outside and inside. So those two I'll probably keep an eye on more tomorrow. I didn't get a ton of time to really look at everybody yesterday because team president Bruce Allen was speaking to the media in between practice sessions, so that took up a lot of our time as well. So it was actually a busy day yesterday, but now it's kind of all settled down with the rain.
Well, good coverage coming from the Senior Bowl. For me, I had an opportunity to cover the NFLPA Bowl out in Los Angeles last week. So you think about going to Los Angeles for an entire week and how lovely the weather is going to be and how enjoyable. Wrong.
I was just about to say, you don't sound excited.
It rained the entire time. Like, it was storming so bad. We had to cancel practice one day that we only had to walk through. The field was so bad. And this was on the AstroTurf field after we moved from the Rose Bowl. So a lot of the players, my running back, who I get the opportunity to rave about, West Hill, a guy from Stony Brook, had an opportunity to coach him, and he won MVP. Although we lost the game 10-7, he was the game MVP, and he got invited to the Senior Bowl. And I forgot to ask you about him, Jake, so keep an eye out for West Hill.
Look at you, Coach Portis.
Yeah, I just coached him up in the NFLPA Bowl.
Okay.
But, I mean, just to get that invite for him from the NFLPA Bowl, because all the coaches were raving about this kid. There was a couple kids, Arkansas had a DN, Ramsey, they call him Rambo Ramsey, that was just like Sweat. Who you're talking about, no one could block him. This kid dominated like the entire week. He was disruptive, making plays all around the field and letting it be known that they couldn't guard him. So just little stick-out names. When you get this opportunity to go see those guys, and you hope that they make it to the NFL, because you get an opportunity to meet a lot of good guys.
So you obviously were a part of this as an athlete. Now you're going to do it as a coach. How do you sort of balance having fun and enjoying it, right? It's the capstone of your career, of your collegiate career, but also being about your business.
I came out early, so I didn't get to play in any All-Star games. They didn't have all of these games at that time. The Rose Bowl was my opportunity to shine, on the national stage with everyone watching. We won that game. Walking out of the Rose Bowl, I was preparing to declare for the draft. And I didn't talk to anyone. It wasn't, oh, let me see what this person think. It was, I'm done. We just won the national championship. I remember Andre Johnson jumping up yeah, man, we gonna do this again next year. And I'm like, no, y'all gonna do this again next year. He was like, CP, you out? Yeah, I'm out. It's nothing else for me to do. But, you know, a lot of these guys get an opportunity to come out and prove something, and here it go. You know, like, and the crazy thing about it is, so many of these guys, this is their last game, their last opportunity. They don't have another opportunity to go to the NFL, and it's over for them. And you know, like, you look at these kids, and it's like, you want to have this opportunity, or if I could just get around you to tell you this and help you along the way. But a lot of these guys that I was just around who won't get their name called, you know, it's going to be discouraging, you know, and everyone is not going to be able to go whatever route. You know, you're going to have one of those players that just stuck with it, stay consistent, maintain, stay focused.
Josh Johnson.
Yeah, and make it. But then you're going to have 85 or 90% of the guys that just say, well, that's it, you know, and it's over.
At some point, we got to get into the conversation about that transition, because I think that's so tough for so many athletes across whatever sport. But did you have, like, was that your first time back at the Rose Bowl since you had won?
Well, I had went to the national championship, Florida State national championship, in the Rose Bowl when I was doing the ACC network. So they had me come out for it. But you talking about, speaking of some guys and athletes and being over, we got to get to this Adrien Broner fight, because this is one athlete. I don't even know what to think of Adrien Broner. Like, you want to be on his side. You know, like, you look at Floyd Mayweather in the endorsement when Broner first came out, like, okay, Broner, and you look at, like the ref said, in your last 7 fights, you're 3-3-1. And Broner's reply was, yeah, but I'd be 7-0 against you.
Saw that.
Like,
I saw that.
This man is crazy.
Do you think it was sincere, or like I kind of think it's part of the show, it's part of the act, right? Like, get everybody talking, then there's the next Broner fight. Yeah, but to have an act, like, you gotta win. You know, if he was 5-1-1, then that's different. When you're 3-3-1, who's excited about seeing you again? You know, and then it's always pointing the finger, like, well, they pumping it up. We know they're trying to get Pacquiao and Mayweather too. Like, they're trying to get the money right for that. Like, what does that have to do with you? And why is that what you're thinking about after you just immediately lost the fight? Well, if he can't handle his business in the ring, then at least you stay a part of the conversation by sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, perhaps.
Like, it's only a matter of time. You go off on a reporter every opportunity you get. Like, he probably had 4 press conferences leading up to this where he was disrespectful to a reporter. Now, was he speaking the truth? I don't know. I've never read these beat writers or reporters what they had to say about him, but obviously it was something heartfelt. But for him to even know that, like, this is my opportunity to call you out and let you know what I mean, and then you don't go out and perform, and like, you're delusional because you felt like you really won that fight, but you landed 1 punch.
Too many hits to the head. Not playing with that, but like, delusional, like, could be very accurate to describe him.
That's what I would say. I'll tell you someone who's not delusional and someone that's on a tear. Shifting over to the NBA, James Harden, 20 consecutive games of 30 points or more. This man is averaging like 44 points a game over his last 9 or 10 games. That is unreal. That is unheard of. And do you think he can sustain it?
So here's my only asterisk with the James Harden streak. Are we just going to get super excited about scoring ability, or are we also going to look at wins and losses? Because his latest feat, fine, you got your numbers, but y'all got clobbered by the Sixers. So
yeah, he did.
What are we doing?
Yeah, but I thought they had been they had won some games amongst this.
So let's check it. Before the Sixers, I'm gonna go backwards. Lakers, Nets, Grizzlies, Magic, Cavs, Bucks, they lost. Nuggets, they beat the Nuggets. That's a solid win. They lost to the Trailblazers.
So are they 6-3?
Warriors was the OT. They beat the Warriors by 1 on his heroics.
So 7-3 over your last 10 games.
I guess, but did you hear the teams they beat? Did you hear the teams they beat?
Yeah, but you're still 7-3 over your last 10 games without Chris Paul.
I got you.
And you don't have Capella either.
I got you. You have to. I think James Harden is a prolific scorer. We can have the conversation about his scoring ability and give him all the gold medals. But is it going to matter when it needs to, is what I'm getting at.
I think he tires out. Like, when you're carrying an
Of course.
organization and you're putting up these type of numbers, even going into All-Star weekend, you know, most players get hot and go on the tear after the All-Star game is when basketball, NBA really gets serious. And you could see Golden State forming right for this All-Star to go on a run, probably not lose a game now that they have Boogie back. Then you look at the other teams that's starting to come together in jail, not knowing what the trades are going to be. So when you look at that, it's just like one of those opportunities. How long can Harden sustain this? And, you know, do he get into the playoffs and falter off? But before we falter off, let's get you some reads.
Woo! Let me tell you a little bit about our friends at your local DC area Meineke Car Care Centers. It's a great place to get everything you need to get done to keep your car on the road. It is so important to maintain your car, especially in this weather. And there are 19 Meineke Car Care Solutions locations in the greater Washington, D.C. area to help you do so. With services from oil change to brake repair, the experts at Meineke have you covered. Right now, get a basic oil change for only $19.95. Go in today or save time by booking online at Meineke.com. Meineke, on with life. Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at KOCHindustries.com.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
This is Rick Goslin with the Talk of Fame Network. This NFL season, FanDuel has more ways to win than ever before. New Beat the Score contests pay out everyone who hits a certain score. Now it's easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head fantasy contests for cash or bragging rights. New players, try FanDuel today and get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Rick.
New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For eligibility rules, terms, and conditions, go to FanDuel.com.
John Riggins here with a little tip. If you need a mortgage, take my advice and use the pros at McLean Mortgage. Buying a home can be stressful and filled with hassles. The experts at McLean Mortgage understand what an important financial investment your home is and will seamlessly guide you through the process to successful home ownership. Smooth, amazing, easy, professional, and first rate are just some of the reviews from their tens of thousands of homeowners, including me. I trust McLean Mortgage, and I hope you will too. Check them out at McLeanMortgage.com.
Hail to the Redskins this year with gear from the official Redskins team store. From Nike player and personalized jerseys to a great selection of new era hats, the Redskins team store has you covered. Plus, we have an amazing variety of youth and ladies apparel and everything you need to throw the perfect tailgate party. And we have signs, flags, and collectibles for the perfect Redskins man cave. So hail to the Redskins in style at any of our 4 Redskins team stores or online anytime at RedskinsTeamStore.com.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
Jake, you're in trouble. Now you get to hit
trouble. I don't think I'm in trouble. We might need to have a read-off.
Hey,
We can have a read-off, Jake, for sure.
You're in trouble. Listen to Monica. I'd be ready to go get my car serviced. Like, just go throw the keys up. Here you go. Straighten. So we to Monica's favorite segment right now. Best thing we saw this week, Monica.
So I was really torn on the 57-yard field goal that sends your guys to the Super Bowl, although they shouldn't be there, being my best thing. Because I literally was like, oh, they're going to lose. Like, this is not happening. But I actually think I'm going to give my best thing I saw to Klay Thompson. 10 straight threes. I took yours. They're in town on Thursday. You going?
He was so hot.
Like, as a shooter, like, to be in that kind of zone.
He was on fire.
Or my other best thing I could be the Snyder yacht because it's just fantastic.
Yeah, Snyder yacht will be dope. Who yacht you think gonna be better, Snyder's or Jerry Jones?
Ooh,
Jake. Chime in, Jake.
That's a tough one.
Are you putting me on the spot here?
Yes. I want everybody's opinion.
Only one has an IMAX. I just appreciate the dedication to the cinematic movie experience. You know, not many people go to the movie theaters as much anymore. It's all about on Netflix and streaming services on TV. Nobody wants to go out. But, you know, look, if you're going to spend that much on an IMAX, you obviously appreciate movies.
It's, I can't even imagine that. I'm going to give it to Snyder.
I can't wait to watch.
26 minutes from the yacht.
Dan, I know you got to be listening to this. Hopefully you're listening. Can't wait to have a cigar with you on the yacht. All right. Jake, best thing you saw?
Best thing I saw. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go down under to Australia, and the incredible performances from Francis Tiafoe. He did lose to Rafael Nadal the other day. But this guy made it to the quarterfinals, and he's really an exciting player to watch. He's from America. He's from Hyattsville, Maryland.
Yes, he is.
And this guy has slowly been climbing his way up into national acclaim, and I think he's finally reached the point now where a lot of people realize where he is and who he is, and like the talent level that he has. I mean, he beat some really top players. He beat Kevin Anderson, ranked 5th. He beat Dimitrov, 20th ranked player. And these were like some matches where he ground out a lot of really tough serve guys he was playing. So I really like the way he's energetic on the court. He's just a fun player to watch, and he's a young American player, which is just like from the men's side at least, there hasn't been a player that's really gotten into the stream of consciousness for a lot of people out here. Really, besides Isner, who's like kind of fallen off, and I'm excited that this is going to be the new face potentially of men's American tennis.
For me, I'm going back to this NFLPA Bowl and West Hill. You know, I think just to get in depth, Slippery Rock. When I saw his helmet, I'm like telling scouts, like, yeah, he went to Michigan State. I didn't know where Slippery Rock. Yeah, he played at Slippery Rock in Pennsylvania. So the running back played at Slippery Rock, got an opportunity because he wasn't in the beginning of the week. We had another running back, Marche Denard, that I actually thought was going to be the running back to step up. So he had back soreness, you know, just tight back, and that's what gave Wes his opportunity to catch everyone's eye, day 2, and he capitalized off of it. And he saw an opportunity, and he was so eager and hungry to capitalize. It was like, what can I do? Like, how can I get better in this 1 week? What do I need to do to improve my game? And from Monday, where you were probably the number 2 back, to all of a sudden Wednesday or Thursday, you get an invite to Senior Bowl. How quickly things change just due to Denard back being stiff, you know, and being tight. That's really how he got his opportunity, and he did it everywhere. He did it as seeking knowledge. He did it in the film room. He was the one watching film. He knew all of his plays. He wanted it on special teams. He busted his butt. Like, he didn't come off the field. This was a guy who had one of those old school mentalities, like, this is my last opportunity. A lot of the kids you seen, like, some of them kids was just, oh man, like, this doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm tired of football. I'm at this point. Whereas this one kid wanted it so much, and he put so much into this game that now he's going to get an opportunity, and I'm sure he's going to get on the NFL roster due to what he brings to the table from special teams. Now, if he could get on the field with special teams, it's only a matter of time before, as a standout, you just say, you know what, I could put him in the backfield. This kid can do so much. And it reminded me of the fact, just due to where we are in the season, C.J. Anderson.
That's a good
And
comparison.
that's what I thought about the entire time. Like, C.J. Anderson was one of those guys who could have just tucked his head. He could have been done. You get released in Denver. You go to Carolina. You know, he bouncing around, a guy that feel like I can play in this league. And all of a sudden, you get with the Rams and you're in the Super Bowl because you get an opportunity. Ty Gurley, sore, banged up at the end of the season. The Rams need another back. They go out and get C.J. Anderson. And now, in critical situations, 3 weeks that he's been in L.A., he's on the field and Ty Gurley is not. So when you look at that, just saying you never know when your opportunity is going to come, but being ready to capitalize on it. I thought West Hill did an outstanding job of capitalizing.
Success happens when preparation meets opportunity. So we got to look out for West Hill, huh? Slippery Rock. I got to look that up.
Yeah, stay on the look for him. So, Jake, you can get back to whatever you're doing in Mobile, wasting those people times. For everyone else watching episode 22 of 26 Minutes, thank you for joining us. Next week, I'll be in Atlanta. I forgot to break that news to you, Monica.
This is not fair.
Jake, are you going to Atlanta?
I have no clue. That's up for debate.
Well, I'll be in Atlanta regardless, so I'll call you all on the cell phone. Hopefully we'll be able to, Devontae will be able to get things done, all right?
Devontae's going to be in Atlanta. CP's going to be in Atlanta. Jake, we got to do something about this.
So live next week from the Super Bowl. Thanks for tuning in to 26 Minutes.